Hello everyone, this is Orkin, and I'm going to be casting a 1 versus 1 between myself, the blue Protoss Orkin, spawning in the bottom right, and the red Terran blackjack spawning in the top left. Let's go ahead and get the game started. This is only bronze level play, so if you are more interested in the high level play, this is probably not a game that you're going to enjoy. But I thought it was a good game, and it's one of mine, so I figured I would cast it. Blackjack is rank 2 currently as of the casting of this video in our division, and I am rank 6 in our division. So this is the high end of the Bronze League, I guess, but still it's only Bronze League, so a lot of mistakes going on. Let's get the production tab up so we can see what's going on. I am chrono boosting a probe out as soon as I can, throwing down that pylon. I don't immediately send out my probe to scout. I have realized that I can wait a moment or two. I don't have to do it instantaneously. If I can get that probe and to gather a mineral, 5 or 10 or maybe even 15 minerals sometimes. Let's see, it's gathered 10 now. It's gathered 15 now. It's gathered 20, I believe. I do end up losing it. I should have sent it out at like 15. But anyway, you can have that probe build that pylon and then gather about another 15 minerals, and then have it build the gateway. Right here, I have it. I had a little bit of a misclick there. And then I have this probe right here build the simulator, but I still didn't send it out. What I should have done is had a probe build the gateway, followed it up with the simulator, and then send it out to scout. If I had done that, I would have been able to get here in time and not lose. I just now sent out my probe to scout. Unfortunately, I got it out. I sent out my probe so late that he is going to be able to get a marine out in time to kill it before it can exit his base. I was kind of disappointed about that. My gateway is nearly finished now. I have immediately populated the gas. I am now building a second pylon. My opponent is immediately pumping out a marine as soon as he can. He's beginning to wall off here, turtle up like Terrans like to do. He is now getting his command, or his orbital command on his command center. Let's bring the production tab back up so we can see what's going on. I was just checking out the APM there for a minute. He has a second barracks on the way now. I am training up a Zealot. Actually, chrono boosting out a Zealot for that matter. That orbital command is now going to finish, and he's going to do really well. Our income tabs, if you look at here, my income is much higher than his currently. I have more gas and more minerals than he does at the moment. I did have the scouting information necessary to counter, but I did not act properly upon that information. At the moment of casting this game, I do not know the counter to what he does to me, but I'm definitely going to find out and counter it in the future. This marine coming up here, going and stashing itself over here, it looks like. Wow. I did not know that he stashed this marine out here that early in the game. I do remember killing that marine, but I don't remember it being stashed out here this early. Never mind, that marine is stashed out here at this moment, very early on. I do remember that marine now, actually. He had that marine out there from the get-go to prevent any surprise attack on his back door. I did the same thing, eventually. I told him I sensed a marine rush, because I had scouted his base and seen the 2 barracks going down. The 2 marines are definitely being pumped out right now. He says LOL at the fact that I said I suspect a marine rush. In response to the fact that I think there's a marine rush coming down, I throw down my forge and a robotics facility. The robotics facility so that I can get an observer and go do some scouting. I send this probe out here to the Zelnaga tower. He sends a marine into my front door to scout me, see what kind of force I've got built up, and I have 5 Zealots which instantly slaughter that marine. He only has 4 marines at the moment, or 5 marines rather, but one of them is up here in the corner. I am now halfway done researching the warp gate technology at this point. Reapers are on the way from my opponent. He changed up his strategy, I believe, when I said the marine rush. I believe he... But anyway, maybe not. He still seems to be going for Rune Rush. Anyway, he's training up some Reapers to try and surprise me. But I am definitely very suspicious of my opponent at the moment because I have not seen anything happening from him. I sent a probe down here to scout this area out and make sure there's no proxy bunker or anything going on down there. I didn't remember. Wasn't 100% sure if the or if that SCV had left my area, I check out my front door to make sure there's nothing out there. There's nothing out there. I also just now started upgrading ground weapons level 1. My opponent has built an engineering bay and is now constructing his first missile turret here in the middle. Definitely a good idea. It helps keep the observer from being able to see what's going on. I am now pumping out observer. My robotics bay is finished, and I am going to turn boost out an observer. I am now throwing down a second robotics bay, 2 cannons on the way for me as well, trying to make a defensive position. I should not have put these buildings here. What I should have done was place those two. I should have placed these 2 buildings right here. If I had placed those 2 buildings right there, I would have been able to much better protect these cannons. But unfortunately, I did not. I now have a observer heading across the map. I send this probe out to the other Zelnaga watchtower so that I can have a pretty good view of what's going on this map. I like to have a good view of what's going on in the game. I like to know what my opponent has, what he's capable of. I am unable to see his army because he has this missile turret. This missile turret is going to prevent me from being able to scout him very well. He has not used the engineering bay to upgrade and do any research on anything. I don't exactly know why, but he should. He really should, I think. These 4 Reapers now moving out across the map. They are trying to come and harass my mineral line. I see these Reapers because I have the Zelnaga watchtower. He did not stop at the Zelnaga watchtower. He probably should have. He would have been able to put me down 500 minerals. At the minute of the units last tab, we are equal at the moment. These 4 Reapers are now positioned outside my base. I cannot see them at the moment, however, but I do know that they are coming. These 4 Reapers jumping inside my base. I have 2 cannons in the back here, and I have 2 cannons in the front here. He comes in here and tries to blast away this pylon. Even if he had blasted away that pylon, this cannon would have still functioned. He loses all 4 of those Reapers to my cannons. Did not even do anything to any of my troops. If you look at the income here, the Terran now has a lot higher income than I do. He says too early, but what the hell. We look at the units lost tab. He's now down 450 resources. 5 units lost from him, only 2 units lost from me. You know, that's how it goes when you play defensively, if you do your defense properly. At this point, my observer is sitting over here over top of his rocks, ready to scatter it out if necessary. His force of Marines are moving out across the map. I do, however, see them as they enter the view of the Zelnaga watchtower. If you look here, you'll see that I see this large line of Marines moving across the map here, down toward the expansion down here, or the rocks down here, rather, at the back door of my expansion. So I know that is coming. I throw down another gateway. I move my zealots down here to prepare to defend against this incoming attack. At this point, I have weapon upgrades level 1. Researched, my opponent does not. These zealots are going to be doing 9 damage every 1.2 seconds, whereas the Marines are only going to be able to do 6 damage every 0.86 seconds. I leave 1 zealot here to pay attention to these rocks to know when they start destroying them, and I send the rest of my army back up here because I do not have any kind of wall on my front door, and I don't want to leave my front door unguarded for very long. I believe I start warping in more units as soon as they start shooting the rocks down, and I am aware of what's going on. I'm ready to defend it. I throw down 3 more pylons here because I'm actually supply blocked at the moment. Yes, I am. I am supply blocked, 58 out of 58. I send this group of units down here. I pull that zealot away from the rocks a little bit. I position my units down here around this corner, and I am prepared for this battle. I start harassing this Marine across the rocks there, and my zealots run over, and he almost got the concave there, but I managed to get a surround on him here, and my zealots just start melting through these Marines. These Marines are just being melted in half. He tries to get cornered against the wall there to get the better position. I laugh at him. I go LOL, simply because it did not work at all. He now has a Thol on the way. He has one factory producing Thors. He actually already has a Thor out on the field at this point. He is now throwing down his expansion. I am slowly destroying these rocks. This Thor and a group of marauders and marines has moved out to this area, and the Thor are able to blast away at my zealot, killing him very quickly. I do, however, still know what's going on over here because I got the observer. I was sending a group of zealots to back this force up because I knew these rocks are about to be destroyed. I decided to pull these zealots back and not attack after all, and instead take my expansion because I know that he has a bunch of forces here that will be able to just pound on these zealots and destroy them before I can do anything to that attack. He is long distance mining at the moment. He is almost mined out in his main. I am also almost mined out of my main, but I do have a few more resources than he does in my main. I still have 8 mineral patches where he only has 5, it looks like. And so I built a pylon wall right here to replace the rocks. That way units can't just walk right through. They have to break through a wall before they can come in here. That or be dropshipped in. I don't wall off in the beginning. I have now created 2 warp prisms and have loaded up my 8 zealots into these warp prisms, and I am going to be dropping them back here into the back of his base because it is a strategy that Protoss players do not often do that I really like. There's a large group of Marines just sitting out here outside these three barracks. Marine marauders being bumped down. More Thors. Thors are very dangerous. Now there's 3 Thors on the map. A lot of Thor being dropped out. 2 dropships now ready. My dropships, I see these 2 dropships. I should have known. I should have thought about the fact that I saw these 2 dropships. Maybe I should have scouted more and seen these Thors as well, but I did not. I wish I had known about the Thor sooner. I did not know about the Thor sooner. At this point, I do not know that he has a Thor. I don't even know about this factory right here. I flew in here. I did not know about this. I tried to micro that one away to save those 2 zealots and the prism, but I was unable to. This prism very low on health. These zealots doing a lot of damage to his mineral line, interrupting his gas. But there are a whole bunch of marines here that are just going to wipe my zealots out, along with Thor and the marauders. There's not a lot that these zealots have to stand. I warped in a bunch of those. I tried to get this to change back into transport and fly away, but I lost those 3 stalkers as well. That is a big loss. If we look at the unit loss tab now, we are about equal. That was a lot of losses for me. 2,400 to 4,550. That is incredible. I don't like that at all. Wow, these Thors are sitting up here expecting another drop potentially. They are going to be sadly mistaken. I am not going to try that tactic twice in the same match. I am now focused on getting this expansion up and running so that I can have some kind of income. If we look at income at the moment, my income is at 480, whereas opposed my opponent has 980. I am in deep trouble at the moment as far as income is concerned. This is not looking good for me. I'm pumping out more probes. I have all of these stalkers. Normally, I've not gone for as heavy of a stalker armor usually lately as I used to. I've been going more for Sentry Zealot because Sentry Zealot is a pretty deadly force unless you have to deal with air, but you can back that up with some Phoenixes and you're pretty lovely. If you get a group of 5 or 6 Phoenixes, you can micro them with the Graviton Beam and do a lot of harassment as well as being able to back up your ground forces. I went with the stalkers though because I saw the Thor, and I know that stalkers do 15 damage versus armored units, whereas opposed they only do 11, so they do 4 more damage versus armored units as opposed to unarmored units. These dropships coming in here over to the side, I do, however, see them moving out. I move my large force of units down here to try to intercept. I move the probes out of the mineral line. I don't know. I do believe I brought the probes back, but I probably shouldn't have. No, but I do move those probes away to try to save them. Halting my income at the moment. This dropship, I am allowing it to drop down here in the empty mineral line, and then as soon as he starts to move in, I move in and try to pick off some of these. I managed to pick off an entire group of Marines there. There are 4 Marines in there. Not really sure why he. Oh, another dropship full of units lost there. A lot of losses there from the red player. Wow. 5,500. Losses there for the red player. At this point, I do believe I tried to move out. I tried to make a move on these rocks, but this force of Marines and Marauders was just too powerful for me. I thought that at this point, after losing all those Thors, that he wouldn't be able to back it up. He did, however, still have 2 more Thors in his base that I was unaware of, along with all of these all these Vikings that I was unaware of. At this point, I do see this Marine over here, and so I kill him. He dies very quickly. so he knows this attack is coming. And I don't know if he responds to anything. Yes, he does. He moves out a bunch of Marines down here to back up this wall. I tried to throw it on force fields to push them back, but it didn't work. I guess you can't do that. But, you know, you learn. Anyway, this large group of Marines and Marauders here to back this up. I am in deep trouble. For some reason, instead of pulling out early, I decided to stay. I should have tried to throw it on more force fields to try to keep those units from, or trap those units against the rocks. 2 more Thors have shown up now. I managed to take one of the Thors out, but at this point I am losing Stalkers left and right. I try to get the force, or the Guardian shield up to help protect my units. Trying to micro them and to do some damage here. But those Thors are just pounding me away. I do retreat at this point. I throw a little more damage on these rocks so that I can destroy them easier when I so choose, and then I run. I realize that there is nothing that I can do to defeat that force of Marauders and Thors. Thor is very powerful. At this point, I am very low on minerals and whatnot. I use more minerals warp and 5 more Stalkers. I am trying to get my economy back up and running. Unfortunately for me, I did not micro things properly. It could have been a lot better micro from in a lot of ways. There are 7 probes mining off this single mineral patch. And this mineral patch is about gone. It's going to be gone very quickly, but I did not notice that there were that many probes just sitting there mining on that one mineral patch. I wish I had known that. Those probes could have been elsewhere doing a lot more beneficial things. We look at income at the moment, and my opponent still has me beat by almost twice. A group of Vikings now moving out, going to try and come harass my mineral line some more. I don't remember if they're going to be successful or not. Either way, I am in dire straits at the moment. As far as income is concerned, I have nearly completely expanded myself. I warp in more Stalkers, because I know that there are Thors coming, and I need the Stalker. I need to be able to destroy these Thors when they come and attack me. I do know about these Vikings at this point now, because they've come and decided to park themselves right next to my observer. These Marines and Marauders moving out, no, these Thors moving out. This is a big attack. I have 2 Immortals out now. What I should have done, seeing those Vikings move out toward the front there, I should have brought these Stalkers into my base. Had I brought those Stalkers up into my base, I would have been able to defend this, I believe, because I do believe that these Stalkers, in combination with these Stalkers, would have been enough force to be able to pick off the Marauders and the Marines, the Marauders and the Thors. But as I said, it was a poor counter by my part. Well played by the red player. He is about to move in here with this large force of these Vikings coming up here to make sure there's nothing going on up there real quick. And he is posed to attack. He is sending in another reinforcement of another 3 Thors and more Marines and Marauders. That is a big attack force. He has invested a lot into that. If we look at army sizes here, current army size is 4,900 to 3,425. He has a much bigger army than I do. I'm definitely not going to be able to compete with that army size. I warp in a few more units now, knowing that an attack is imminent and preparing for it. These Thors are now just about to walk up my front door, using these Vikings to protect everything else, using them to tank out the front here. Unfortunately, I tried to micro those back. He is just pounding away at this gateway. I realize I need to move in with my forces. I send them all in. These Immortals trying to deal out as much damage as I can. I managed to take out one of his Thors, I believe, but there's just too many Marines and Marauders. By the time that I send these Stalkers in to reinforce, it is just too late. I warp in some more Zealots to try to defend. I send in this force of Stalkers, and I mean, there's just nothing I can do. These 2 Immortals are attacking now, trying to defend. I mean, he had really good timing. Had he waited another moment or 2 for those 2 Immortals to move out, and I had those 4 Immortals in the beginning, he might have been in a lot more trouble. At this point, I know that it is game. I try to warp in some more Zealots to try to fight this off, but there's just nothing that I'm going to be able to do against that force. There are too many. IGG, he continues to destroy my base. He GG's back. I tell him well played, because it really was. He had perfect timing on that attack, and he just was able to decimate me. I leave the game at this point. My name has been Orkin. I appreciate your watching and listening to my commentary. If you like what you see, comment and subscribe. I tell him I need to come up with something to counter that now, which I still do need to come up with a counter for that. Again, please comment, subscribe if you like. And I will see you guys next time.